Hello everyone, welcome to another episode in Life After Alpine, where we showcase Alpine's graduates and speak with them in order to find out how their life has excelled after their graduation from Alpine. Today we have with us Ms. Tia Vassiliou. Tia is a business consultant, a strategist, an organizational developer, trainer, and a coach. She operates through her own website, which is tiavassiliou.com. Tia, very nice having you. Thank you for accepting our invitation. How are you today?
I'm very well. Thank you, Manus. Thank you for the opportunity of having me here with you in the virtual world of Zoom. Thank you.
You are very welcome, and we are looking forward into having this fantastic interview with you. We would like Tia to know, how has Alpine helped your career? And if you can tell us a few things about your career after Alpine, and how did you go to reach the position that you hold today?
Well, Alpine has affected me as a person and as a professional in many ways. I remember all the members of faculty and staff as being very professional. But not only in theory. They had a high practical impact on what they were teaching us, and they were very good role models. So talking about F&B, there were people who worked in F&B for a long period of time, and they worked internationally. So the faculty had a high impact on me as a student. And we are talking about 89. I'm the class of 89, and that was quite unusual to have a high practical impact on studies. Usually you did either the theory or you just did something practical. The combination was great and very productive, and highly effectiveness was the result. So yeah, the people at Alpine, but not only faculty, but also my fellow students. I was a little bit older of age when I started Alpine, so I was surrounded by 18-year-old fellow students, and it was really fun. It kept me young. It still does, and we still meet once a year, the class of 89, on our own initiative. So we take planes from all over Europe and meet in January, February in Athens. So yes, it had a great impact, and what I learned was it's always worth it to go the extra mile, because all the biographies of the people teaching us, they had some extraordinary backgrounds. So that was something that I really like to remember and consider a high influence on what I do today and who I am today. If I recall the second question, it's help me, Manus.
Yes, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
The sub question that we ask you is, how did you go to reach the position that you hold today? After graduating, the positions that you went through that you think of are of importance to share with us? And did Alpine help you into getting those positions?
Yes, Alpine played a great role, because I started working in the hotel industry before I studied. And Mrs. Hoffman got me a job on the island of Kos before I even started school. So I worked one season in the hotel industry because I didn't want to make a wrong choice. I just wanted to test the industry and to see, is this something I can work with? So I got a job through Alpine, not a practical training, because there was no practical training. There was nothing to practice. I just did my work. And that was the first job in the industry. And I was so excited about the work in a hotel that I decided then to finish or to start the studies. That was the first impact Alpine had on my career, or my starting career. After a few years on Greek islands, which I think everybody should do, not only because it's fun, but because it's hard work and you learn how to cope with 12, 14 hours a day, 6 months in a row. So maybe that sounds today a little bit hard, but it's possible. It's great fun with the right team. And after this time, I left Greece in 1994. And it was a call from a former Alpine faculty member. She called me and she said, "Tia, here in Frankfurt, there's a position. It's for you. It's just perfect for you. What about coming to Germany again?" I was born here in Germany. I grew up here, and then I stayed a few years in Greece, doing Alpine and doing some other things. So 94, I left Greece, which was not easy, but I was maybe a little bit too German for Greece. So I figured that working in Germany was at that time more suitable for me. And I started with Renaissance hotels. And Renaissance was bought by Marriott. Then I worked for Marriott. After that, I had a couple of jobs in German hotel companies. I worked with Steitenberger. I worked with the consortium, the romantic hotels. And I did various I had various functions. So once I was in sales, then I started as director in marketing. And this is something that I learned at Alpine, that it's not the name of the title you have, it's just the competence that you have to bring in your job. And I believe that people who did sales are much more better in doing marketing or vice versa. So that was something that I still work with today, cross-functional thinking, cross-functional working, because it's in my biography. I know how it feels, and it's not excluding, the one is not excluding the other. So you need to integrate your talents. And apparently I had a lot of opportunities to live many talents I had. Other people saw in me, and now I'm working with them as a soloist, as a one-woman company. Yeah, that's probably.
This brings me to my next question, dear Tia, which is if you could guide us with a bit more detail on what do you currently do as a freelancer, I might say.
Yeah.
Yes, if you could give us a few details on your line of business, please.
I try because what we have as freelancers is we don't have a routine every day. But I'm doing this now for 15 years, so I started 2004. And a normal day in my life, maybe I start telling a little bit about what is a normal day, like today, for instance. I come to my office in Wiesbaden, which is in a very nice area. We have a lot of old houses here in Wiesbaden. And if you would see my floor, I have my projects on the floor for the week. So some projects need a little bit more analysis. So I need to talk to some people to make an analysis on what is the need with this customer. And then I develop strategic ways of achieving what the target is. So as a consultant, I don't have the 10 golden rules of successful businesses in any regard, because I think that each company has its own DNA, and you need to make a thorough analysis to see afterwards where you need to apply some changes, which things are fine, what can you keep, is it a process, is it a structure? Maybe there is a missing link between two departments. And then I start designing training skills or workshop designs to see how can the people together elaborate and work out a system where they can solve problems that I might have identified. But I always start as a hypothesis. It's theory. I'm not the type of person saying you have to change this and this is wrong. I'm just going to say, I observed this behavior between customers and your employees. Do you want this? And on a scale of 1 to 10, how much of this do you want? Or do you want something else? And I work very strongly with language. So you need to create a vision or maybe a claim to see what's the identity, what's your promise to the outside world. And after that, I start designing trainings and sometimes individual coachings, because many issues are leadership issues. And so you have to work with the value systems within the persons in order to change a professional environment. So this is what I do.
Great job analysis that you guide us through. Would you say, dear Tia, that you got the fundamentals and the basics of your problem-solving thinking from your studies and your personality? Or is it something that you acquired as a skill through your professional progression?
Well, I always believe that you can make a difference when you work with the things needed, not with the things possible. Many things are possible. And my parents were self-employed. They had a very classical way of coming to Germany and working and having something like a restaurant with a bowling facility. So a part of my way of working or thinking is of course based in my family. But due to the fact that when I started Alpine, it was a very conscious decision. It wasn't something because my parents sent me or we owned a hotel on an island and I had to go because it's just something that I would manage one day. My way was not linear, it wasn't fixed. And the way of working with situations, the way of thinking, this I very strongly sort of learned in Alpine. I learned to think in projects. We had the integrated project, and in Alpine I learned how to study. I was never the one in school who liked to study because I thought it's not something that I might need. But the relevance and the specific knowledge you learned at a school like I learned at Alpine, I still use today. And yes, it had a great influence, sharpening my mind, or maybe my ability to observe, restructure information, and then something like putting out a result that people understand. The faculty needed to teach us things that we are able to understand in not our mother language. So we studied, of course, in English, and I'm sorry if I'm looking for words right now, but sometimes it's just tree language. It's a little bit of a challenge for me. But the way how to teach, this is what I learned from the teachers at Alpine. Yeah.
Great, dear Tia. That is great. Thank you for sharing. Tia, do you have a memory that still lives with you today that you could share from your studying years in Alpine? Something that is memorable, we can say.
Well, many things, but I have another appointment in 1 hour, so I think we are limited, and your time is limited as well, Manos.
All the time.
I have a memory that is affecting the work in our project. We did a project. Dimitris Yanos, Dimitris Kaldesos, Lula, Helen Schutt, me, Kyriakos, he's now at the Great Britannia in Athens. So we were a team where everybody, like the Musketeers, everybody was able or willing to work for another. And in 1990, that was the year where Nelson Mandela was released, or the reunification in Germany was just very, very fresh. Just to remember how long ago this was, you needed 40 minutes to print a colored page. So Dimitri Caldesos was our financial mastermind, and he said we need to do the graphs in the project for the documentation in color, so we know versus actual versus budget, and when we break even. So we needed to facilitate this development, or to show it in print. So 40 minutes per page, and this noise of the printer, I still have it in my mind. And we slept in shifts in order to print these pages. So 2 people were sleeping, and one person was checking the printer, putting out the pages, putting in the next page so it could print in color. It's maybe today it sounds like from another time zone, or from another planet, and but we had fun. We really enjoyed it, and it was not. We didn't feel exhausted. We felt even more motivated because we wanted to do something impossible. Everybody said it's not possible. You don't have the time. You don't have the resources. We didn't care. So we just did it, and we designed down to the staff uniforms, because I finished a fashion designing study in Greece with Acto in, I don't know, 80 something. But I was free of talent what designing was regarded, but I did have some contact. So they showed us to do the uniforms. And these 2 memories, like working together, this printing of a page 40 minutes, and waking up and sleeping and doing this in shifts.
And golden memory indeed. That is unique and beautiful right there. Thank you for sharing.
You're welcome.
Dear Tia, what message could you give to our current and future students of Alpine? Do you have something that you would like to say to them who are watching us right now?
Well, what I said at the beginning, you're always a part of something, of a team, or of a bigger context. And what I learned, and what helped me very much, is not taking myself too serious. So I still can laugh about myself, and I'm not doing it for the money only. But if I would like to share something that was for me always a good acclaim for my life, was trying to create value for others through effectiveness and a high personal impact. And then you will find your way through the world of possibilities, because young people have so many possibilities today. They can do whatever they want, they can be whoever they want, but they need to stick to the values that are the core values of their personality. So search for them and go for it. That would be something like a message.
Dear Tia, thank you very much for your knowledge and memories. We appreciate the time you invested in this interview, and we would like to let our audience know that you can contact Tia Vassiliou and have her consult and create a strategy for your business by visiting her website www.tiavassiliou.com. We will have a link under our comments. And Tia Vassiliou, thank you very much for being here today.
It was a pleasure.
It is our pleasure too, and we wish you all the best.
Thank you, Manus. To you too, all the best, and have fun with interviewing all these Alpiners, because Alpine is not a school; it's somewhere a way of living.